Hey, Kentucky, this is Mary Jo Perino. Tonight, Governor Beshear addresses the Commonwealth. The sports wagering bill is off to a good start, and we go one-on-one with Senator Rand Paul. All that and more is next on Hey, Kentucky. Welcome to Hey, Kentucky. One of the good guys, former gubernatorial candidate and state auditor Adam Edlin is my co-host tonight. We have a lot of political stuff to get to.
It's good that I'm here then.
Yes, we will lean on your expertise, my friend. All right, Governor Beshear is receiving bipartisan praise for his message of civility during his first State of the Commonwealth. The governor laid out his vision for his first term last night in Frankfort. He used the acronym WHERE to describe the agenda for Kentucky. First, the W is for wages. Beshear noted families across the state have seen their incomes remain stagnant. He says that has to change. The H is for health care. The governor urged lawmakers to pass legislation protecting people with pre-existing conditions and called for an end to surprise medical billing. The first E stands for education. Beshear promised his budget will include a $2,000 raise for teachers across the board. The R is for retirement. Beshear again pledged to fully fund pensions. And then he described the final E.
That's for example. I'm committed to changing the tone in Frankfort because we have so much more in common than what divides us.
Several top Republicans were quick to say much of Beshear's speech wasn't realistic. He'll deliver his budget address later this month. Adam, I think they said he promised everything but puppies.
Well, to give credit to where it's due, I mean, an Andy Beshear speech is like, the Maytag washer and dryer. I mean, it's reliable and not particularly exciting. There wasn't a whole lot new in this, but what I do think the governor deserves some accolades for is that it reflected a tone that is, let's ignore the nationalization of politics. Let's get away from those divisions. And, it wasn't really exciting, but it was important, I think, to stress that we've got to be bigger than our divisions. And he laid out some important initiatives, I think, that will move Kentucky forward. And I think the Republicans would be wise to partner with them where they can.
I do sense much more of a feeling of civility. And I know part of that is because Matt Bevin is gone.
Yep.
But it is there. It's palpable.
Yeah, Andy Beshear is a gentleman, just like his dad. And he does buy this civility stuff. And I think it's important, but we're going to have to see things get done this legislative session, and tempers will flare, and the proof will be in the pudding.
Yes. All right. Also in Frankfort, a sports wagering bill moved quickly and unanimously out of a House committee this morning. House Bill 137 would legalize sports betting in Kentucky and could generate millions of dollars in new revenue for state pensions. The bill would also allow betting at horse race tracks and the Kentucky Speedway, as well as mobile wagering through online apps, including wagers on in-state university sports. Supporters say it would generate around $22.5 million in new revenue every year without raising taxes. That's not a ton of money, Adam, but it is a start. I really feel like this is going to go through.
As the fella said in Animal House, we need the dues.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we've got the luxury of turning any new dollars away. But what I'll say is it's only $22.5 million, but it's not just about revenue. This is about, do we trust the people of Kentucky to live their own lives and make their own entertainment decisions? I think this is as much a freedom issue. It's a bigger freedom issue than it is a revenue issue. And if people want to gamble, I think they ought to be able to do it. They certainly can do it at Keeneland or Churchill Downs or the Red Mile. Why not be able to gamble on sports? And we've got a lot of great sports fans here like you and me. I think if somebody wants to put skin in the game and generate some revenue for the state while they're doing it, have at it.
Yeah, and I think we're crazy to think that those people aren't already betting.
Listen, I learned this my first week on campus at the University of Kentucky, is that everybody has a bookie.
Yeah.
And it's time that we start bringing that inside, I think, and it's a freedom issue. Let people gamble.
Absolutely. All right, a bipartisan group of Kentucky lawmakers has detailed their plan to outlaw so-called conversion therapy in the state. House Bill 199 would ban mental health professionals from administering gay conversion therapy for anyone, and it threatens board punishment for any provider who does. Zach Miners, who went through conversion therapy as a teenager, explains why he's against the practice.
For me, it was a lot of encouraging self-harm when you're having a quote-unquote gay thought. There is a lot of just, again, learning to hate yourself, trying to take this part of your identity away, which then just causes a lot of depression and anxiety because you're trying to do something that has been proven to be impossible to do.
Adam, I don't believe a true mental health professional would ever provide conversion therapy.
And it's sad that we even have to have this conversation. I mean, it's 2020. Surely we can all embrace the notion that you're born the way you are, and that who you are ought to be celebrated. And whomever however you are, you ought to be able to celebrate who you are. And the notion that we wouldn't outlaw a practice where we tried to change people for being gay, it's insane, it's immoral, and it makes the state look really bad. This is something that ought to bring Republicans and Democrats together as humans to make sure that we're being more kind to each other.
And I think it will, but surprisingly, we would be the 20th state to outlaw it. That means there's still 30 states.
Which is really disheartening. I will say that I think Republican Senator Alice Forgy Kerr, who is known as a religious conservative, she led the choir at my church for a very long time. She is the one sponsoring this bill. And I just think it shows that attitudes have shifted, but if we're going to be Christian, we have to be good to each other. And trying to change people at their most basic element is a disgusting practice, and I'm glad to see that this is getting moved on.
Absolutely. Now let's turn to Kentucky's 2020 U.S. Senate race. The state Republican Party has filed a complaint against Amy McGrath's campaign, alleging violations of the Federal Election Campaign Act and Federal Election Commission's regulations. The complaint claims that McGrath's manager knowingly and willfully solicited illegal soft money contributions for a pro-McGrath super PAC and sought funds in excess of the legal limits for a super PAC. The manager calls this a laughable complaint by partisan hacks. Meanwhile, a political action committee that is hoping to help unseat Mitch McConnell has raised more than $5 million so far. The Ditch Mitch Fund was formed in 2018 and has been running anti-McConnell ads. McGrath's campaign has raised nearly $17 million, just short of what McConnell has on hand. And Adam, this feels like to me we got to defeat the bad money with bad money.
That's exactly right. And the whole system is corrupt. I mean, and I would say that Mitch McConnell was an architect of the dark money system that we have in this country. I mean, he's opposed McCain-Feingold. He opposed campaign finance reform at every turn. So I think it's a little hollow that now his political apparatus is attacking Amy McGrath for playing by the rules that Mitch McConnell essentially invented. So, my guess is that Senator McConnell's having a good chuckle about the irony of all this somewhere, but they're trying to throw the McGrath campaign off kilter, and it may work. 17
million is a lot.
And it's a fraction of what is going to get spent here. So it's a very good time to be in the TV business, folks.
Finally. All right, up next on Hey Kentucky, we check in with Senator Rand Paul. He shares his thoughts on the big issues in Washington, including impeachment and the showdown with Iran. Stay with us.